I like the way I'm feeling now. Much better. If I'm gonna be sunny, I might as well go all the way. Now that I'm looking at it like this, hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. Alright, there we go. Much better. Can we hear me? Can we see me? Wagwan, brother. What's going on, Woodalux? How you doing? What ya saying? What ya say? Quick question though, guys. Since I got your attention now, these glasses or the cop glasses, or the crowd favorite, the Nerd 5000s. Which one are we going with today? I think these keep the sun out my eyes, to be honest, man. Let's keep the sun out my eyes a lot better. What's going on, though? I'm happy you guys are here. It is a beautiful, beautiful Sunday, the Lord's Day. And the day after Donald Trump had an assassination attempt on his life. Send your prayers to him and his family. We sensationalize news for the sake of social media, but end of the day, that was interesting and unnecessary. So send your prayers up. I don't care how you feel about him. That is not how you're supposed to treat the due democratic process. Feel me? Damn, I'm late. Nah, I just got here, Philip. You're good. Oh, you're late to get first. Sure, you're late to that. Can hear and see you. Good. Awesome. Thanks. Okay. Man, like Niger Future. Niger Future. That's funny. You saying, G? How many snow bunnies we plowing today? Sorry, Doctor. You guys want me to give you a fucking quota? A snow bunny quota? That's funny. Hey, what's going on, Sammy? How you doing? I'll fight before the others run up. Hey, what's going on, Enzo? How you doing? What's good, Paulie? How you doing, Casanova? How you doing? The first ones, alright, bet. We're gonna stick to these. I'll go on, Jace. How you doing, Zami? Actually, no, that's Canva. What's going on, Canva? Similar profile pic. Well, not similar, just the same kind of build. Nerd 500, cause the other ones give Diddy vibes. The other ones give Diddy vibes. Is crazy. You know what? That is true though. This is the classic Diddy 5000s right here. This is the bad boys for life. Take that. I didn't even realize. I completely forget that man likes to wear his aviator shades. That's what they're called, by the way. Go Google that, aviator shades. All right, bet. Just got the interview light. Awesome. Go through it more than once. It's a lot of content in there, so it's gonna take you a while to go through all of it. But still, go through it more than once. And I should probably change the name to the interview too. Well, it's not dropped for everybody yet, so let me chill on that. That picture was cool as bro. The picture was crazy. I was talking about this on my other account. That's how I know God intervened in that. That was God that made that happen, because that flick, that picture sends the right message, like the perfect American hero message. Bro's got blood dripping down his face, fist pumps in the air, Secret Service flailing all over him, clear cloudless blue sky, American flag in the background waving, like not even folded, just waving free and flat. Like, fuck, dude. That picture is so, like, it goes so hard, bro. It is the perfect picture. Like, you couldn't plan that shit. That's how I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that picture, I was like, man, this gotta be staged. But then I saw, the other news and information around it. People actually died when this happened, unfortunately. All the circumstances around it, the fact that there's no way it could have been planned. It'd be planned and he'd risk having his head blown off. No one is that accurate in those windy conditions with not very good sniper gun. I don't even, what was it, a 223? It was called a 223, and not the best type of long range distant weapon. And windy conditions about 250 yards away. Even trained snipers have a very hard time hitting a target from that far. So the fact that he even grazed Donald Trump's ear is like low-key a miracle. He's a good enough shot, whoever bro was. But yeah, crazy circumstances. There's no way that was staged. There's no way it was staged. But let me put it like this: it was staged by God. Like, God allowed his synchronicity to work overtime with that. Like, if everything happened for just that picture to guarantee Donald Trump's win, I believe it. There you go. Right there. Glory to God. Like, that's a crazy thing to happen. That is too coincidental. It's so good. You can't even rehearse that shit for months. Literally, even if it was staged. You can't rehearse that for months and then execute it that perfectly. You can't. It's too good. Hey, what's going on, Ryu? How you doing? How you doing, Esat? What's going on? The Fish Army in the house. That's good. Asami's here too. Well done. How you doing, boys? What are your thoughts on casual sex? Let's see. Every serious sex starts out as casual, right? That's the one thing you have to remember. There's no girl you end up serious with that you don't start out casual with. And if you try to do it the I'm gonna start out serious way, then you're just setting yourself up for failure because of how relationships work. You can't be the one that's more relationship focused than the girl. You're just it's gonna blow in your face. That's one. With that said, though, I really don't believe in just going around having sex for the sake of having sex. I really don't believe in that. I believe everything should be done from like a point of with a certain end goal in mind, or at the very least with some kind of long-term advantage. If you're going to, sleep around, then make sure it's with girls that you actually enjoy, girls you find attractive and like to spend time with. Don't do it with just anyone. That's why I keep telling you guys I hate one-night stands. The idea of wasting time and energy talking to a girl that I myself know I don't intend to see again, that bothers me. Because if I've decided I don't want to see that girl again, that means she's not worth my time right now. She's not fucking worth my time right now. So be careful with your, casual sex. Have it with girls that you actually, enjoy being around. Let's put it that way. Okay? Am I early? Yeah, you are. Similar profile pic, how? Because that's me as a kid at my parents' wedding. Yeah, I know. That's what I meant. Like, it's not like the same profile pic. It's like, I think he too has a profile pic where he is wearing white in like the same way and same background as you. It's not quite the same, So yeah, we're the exception to the rule. Yeah, feel me? Yeah, indeed, we are the exception to the rule. That's what's up. Thought it was staged for real. Then I thought of all the risk. Indeed, it was like literally my same thought process. Like, it just got to be staged. But then I looked at all the things that would have to happen for it to be staged, and it's like, there's no way it's staged. There's no way it's staged. The sign value in that photo can't be replicated. The sign value? Oh, like the fist pumping? Is that what you mean? Type shit. So I shouldn't go into a relationship with a long-term relationship mindset. You shouldn't. No, that should not be the point. You should think about it more like, this is a girl that I enjoy spending time with right now. Does that make sense? And then that way she becomes the one to push, for the relationship going forward. Now, if you decide that you want a relationship with her, then cool, you can do that too. I mean, I've always said there's nothing wrong with being the one to bring up the idea of the relationship, or just, lay flat to her like, you're my girlfriend now. That's literally what I do. I'll literally tell girls, you're my girlfriend now. Go tell your friends you're my girlfriend. And, they'll be like, you're crazy, type shit. But eventually, over the course of days, weeks, whatever, they get, the more emotionally invested, the more real it becomes for them. Right? So it shouldn't be something you should treat with seriousness. It should be something that should always be playful and jokey and all that kind of stuff. Never treat it too seriously. The moment you become the one that treats it more seriously than her, you become the one that cares more than her about the outcome. And you don't ever want to be that person, Let's see. Crazy people see him like that one German leader with an interesting mustache. But the Kanye, I love this dude. Literally, like, funny you mentioned Kanye. That's another person I fucking love. Listen, man, I love any contrarian to some degree because I know how hard it is to be one. With that said, though, what I even love more than just a regular person trying to be a contrarian for the sake of being a contrarian is a person that actually has a philosophy that they're willing to die for. And yesterday proves to me that Trump is one of them guys. Like, he really will crash out and say fuck this life over his belief system. I don't think you throw a bullet towards, you know, I don't want to say any other politicians' names because, you know, I don't intend for them to get hurt, obviously. But any other politician, they would have found a way to bitch out, crawl away from the stage, tweet later or put it on Instagram later that they're jumping out of the race. They don't want to be a politician no more. They would have found a way to weasel out of it. But Trump's initial instinctual reaction was like, no, hold on. Let me show the people I'm still here. I got this. I'm like that. Like, come on, son. That you can't fake that. You in the midst of a live threat, a live threat to his life. He did that? Like, come on, son. That's gangster. I don't care what you feel about the guy. I do not care how you think about him, what your political beliefs are. I don't give a shit. You gotta admit, that man's a G. That man's a G. That's impressive. Good points, my thought, exactly, yeah. What are the conditions that need to be met before you demonstrate sexual interest? Value, then comfort. Once you've demonstrated value and then you build comfort with her, when you've built sufficient value sufficient comfort. And what sufficient comfort is her also showing you her human side, right? Because when you start talking to a woman, they're like, especially the attractive ones, the really desirable ones, super blasé, nonchalant, closed off. You want to have like that cool moment with her where you open up, or you get her to open up to you and really give you a piece of herself. When that happens, then you can begin the seduction phase. That's when you can begin to sprinkle in some, you know, sexual interest in there. Let's see. We're too perfect, man. Gods on earth, indeed. I enjoy saving these girls so much, for real. That's the mindset, right? I'm destined to have multiple girls. My dad has 4 women. Both my grandpas had 4 women, and 2 of my great grandpas had 4. And one of the great grandpas had 2. Your grandparents were pussy. I'm pretty sure my granddad had like 18. Well, no, that's my great granddad. My great granddad had like a fuck ton. My granddad on my dad's side had 3. My granddad on my mom's side had, I think, at least 4 or 5 by, you know, my general count. Because your parents never tell you everything straight up, so you gotta go find the information. But yeah. That's, especially us Africans, man, that's normal. One of the worst things that's ever happened to Africa and the way we go around dating or go about dating is the westernization of our dating culture. We should not hold ourselves to Western standards. I've always said that. Let's see. Gotta drop the advanced laws. I need them. Bet. Give me a second, though. I gotta tweak a bunch of those things a little bit first. And let's see. I feel like I should prepare a list of questions for these lives. I forget some things I want to know. Fair enough. And I tell you guys all the time too. Like, you'd be surprised how easy it is to forget a bunch of things in a moment. Write things down. Everyone has to have a full notes app in their phone. If you don't have a notes app, a memo app, whatever the hell it's called in your phone, download one. You know, like, it's very important. Okay. Let's see. Yo, am I late? No. I just started like, what, 10 minutes ago? Type shit. You're here. Welcome though, Mexicans. How you doing? The way you explain ideas is extremely good. I try. A little bit of practice, a little bit of a gift from God. Praise Him. Give us a teaser on the advanced laws and psychological positioning. That's not how the advanced laws work, but when you see them, you'll understand. They never went above 4. They were too religious. Oh, I see. Muslim. Fair enough. Who are you voting for? Nobody. Because I technically can't anyway. Where it gets too high and you become unattainable. What are we talking about? Psychological positioning where it gets too high and it becomes too unattainable. Oh, like you mean the tension while you're creating psychological position? Well, that again, that's just gonna come with practice, my boy. That's just gonna come with practice to make sure it doesn't go overboard, you know? Trump is an actual G, huge respect for him, one of the West's last hopes, and stand by his word. Exactly. And this is how I know. Someone was telling me the other day, like, the bad times are here. Da, da, da. It's all fear-mongering. I still think we're still comfortably in the good times, low-key, even after what happened yesterday. I'll know we're in the bad times, right? When people start actually appreciating people like Trump. Does that make sense? You know the bad times are here when people stop vilifying men like Trump. Well, men like me, really. Because when the bad times are here, guess who they look to for their safety and protection? Right? When it's good times, right, men like me are seen as unnecessary, even though we create the good times. But when it's good times, being masculine, being aggressive, being competitive, just having testosterone at all, begins to look like too aggressive, right? So the world's job is to curtail that and punish that and cancel that, blah, blah, blah. When the bad times come, it's us that have to do the dirty work of making it good again. You know what I mean? You said there's an advanced law about that with overdoing psychological positioning. That's when we're talking about tension, though, right? You know what I mean? Like when the tension is too high, when she knows that she now has to go into auto rejection, that's an entirely different thing. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's how I know it's still the good times. You'll know it's bad times when people start craving people like Trump. Like when not just half the country, like 100% of the country starts craving people like Trump. That's when you know, okay, now it's the bad times. Because they have to change out their prophets and their leaders. Yeah, feel me? Exactly, indeed. Do you have a perspective on why people see you as a villain figure? I mean, yeah, it's something I talk about all the time. It's not, okay, there's so many ways I could talk about it, but here's the brunt of it. The whole gist of it is, I speak my mind. I am as honest as it comes. I really try my best to live as authentic a life as I can. So that means I don't really have to do a lot of lying. Does that make sense? If at all I lie, I do it to maybe protect the feelings of people, especially people in my life, people that I love, right? Don't want to kill them with honesty too much, because again, honesty to the extreme can become a dangerous weapon. But for people that I don't know, I don't give a fuck. I'll give you the honesty straight up. That is why I'm a villain, because I refuse to play by the same rules of the social conditioning, social construct, right? I refuse to see things the same way. I refuse to bow and say the same things or mirror the same rhetoric or ideologies of social conditioning. And that makes me a villain in a few different ways. One, my rebellion or my rebellious attitude towards everything. Two, my refusal to be clamped and held back by the same rules everybody else like is held by. You gotta understand, a lot of men hate me, like really fucking hate me, but they don't hate me because they have an actual reason to hate me, because they can't really say, oh, Jason is a fucking liar. No. Oh, he's a fucking scam artist and he can't replicate the results he's talking about. I got proof of that. They can't really point out anything about me that they hate, except for the fact that I can do things they can't. That's really it. I don't have to play by the same fucking rules. That makes you hated by people who have to play by those rules. It's like that thing where, just to simplify it, how broke dudes hate rich dudes, or how ugly dudes hate handsome dudes. Same type of thing. It's not that they have a real good reason or a solid chink in the armor they found that they're trying to poke at. It's that they know they're powerless and can't compete against those people. That's what makes me the villain. But I'm okay with it, because I know what comes with it. It's fine. All the, consequences and all the rewards. Should I share my location with my girl? Fuck no. Never do that. How many times do I have to tell you? Okay, this sun is too much. How many times do I have to tell you guys, never share location with your girl? Never. That's a bad idea for so many reasons. The biggest one being that you kill the anxiety and the tension that you have in your relationship. Whenever your girl knows where you are, what you're doing, what you're up to, who you're with, how long you're gonna be with them every single time, every single day, like she can just pull up her phone and see what the fuck you're up to, that completely kills all the unpredictability in the relationship. And the unpredictability is what creates excitement. And the excitement is what creates and facilitates attraction, and as a result, her sense of urgency around you, right? If all you do is block any outlet for her to feel worry around you or confusion, or to sit there and think and wonder what is he up to, then you're not gonna have any of that in your relationship. Does that make sense? It's very important. Never share location. And again, the sharing location one is just one of the things you shouldn't do. There's many other things you shouldn't do. Don't create a call routine that is not favorable to you in your relationship. I actually had to have a conversation like that with one of my girls, like, because I got into a habit of calling her every single day at a certain time for a particular reason that I'm not going to say here, but I literally had to tell her, I had to remind her, like, listen, don't get used to this. All right, you know how busy I am. Don't fucking get used to this. So that's how it has to be. You can't allow things to get too predictable in your relationship. It'll devolve into boredom, and you will never want to see each other again. Trust me, don't do it. What's the best way to introduce it without neediness attached to it? Introduce what exactly? What are we talking about? My notes app got thousands of notes, bro. Good. They never went. Oh yeah, I read that one. You said I read that one. Good times create spineless men. Yes, and spineless men hate men with spines. Without being needy, you don't have to worry about being needy once you get to that point. Like, first of all, you should never worry about neediness to begin with. Like, don't worry about it at all. The neediest thing you can do is worry about being needy, by far. Because if you have neediness on your mind while you're doing stuff, neediness will leak out through your behaviors. That's one. But two, once you've established value and comfort, there's like needing, like, mutual attraction has been overtly stated at that point. Does that make sense? Like, she knows you like her, you know she likes you. So there's no neediness there when you want to make an advance. It's just not. Again, if you do everything correctly up to that point, right? Good times create weak men create hard times create strong men. Bars. Indeed. Privilege is invisible to those who have it. People need people like you. Exactly. I actually said a story like this recently to one of my girls, where it's like, have you guys ever heard the story of the priest who, was it a priest or something? I forget who it was, but it was a rich man that lived in a mansion. He got a new bride, a young girl. He kept her in the castle with giant walls, and he told her, no matter what you do, never leave the castle. I have built those walls up outside for your own safety, right? But, you know, curiosity kills the cat, or in this case, the pussy, as they say. And she decided to create an elaborate plan to scale the fence and leave the castle. She made it over the fence, well, to the top of the fence anyway. She looked down and she realized that there were hordes and hordes and hordes of werewolves trying to climb up the wall continuously but unsuccessfully. But she didn't know those werewolves didn't exist, and the reason she didn't know is because her husband didn't want to ruin the fantasy of living that luxurious life in the castle for her, right? So it's like, sometimes you got to expose people to the danger that they think doesn't exist so that they can appreciate your protection over them. And I mean this, by the way. This is something I actually discuss heavily in the back end. Now I can exactly say when I did it too early and when I should have done it, exactly. But this is something that you have to understand in the back end. And this is something that you'll need for those of you that have long-term relationships. Pay very close attention. At some point, your woman, and this is not her fault, by the way, do not be frustrated with her. Do not be mad at her. Do not try to take it out on her somehow. Just relax. This is how women are. At some point, they're going to forget your value. They're going to forget what you actually do, with the value you actually provide to her, because at some point they're gonna feel like everything that you give her is mundane routine, right? So they're gonna forget what life is like without it. Your job is to show them what life is like without it, so that they can remember to have appreciation and gratitude for it. Has to happen. For some of you, depending on the length of your relationship, it'll have to happen multiple times, maybe every other year or so, maybe every 3 years or so, right? Bitches get super ungrateful very quickly, very forgetful. They start speaking out of term. They start saying things that let you know distinctively that they don't have an appreciation for what it is you do. So you got to create some separation, right? It's like a law of power. It's one of the 48 laws of power. How they say it? How does it say it in the book? Create distance to increase respect. Is that how they say it in the book? I can't remember like the exact wording, but that's the point. Like at some point you gotta remind your girl all those little things you do matter, and here's why. Here's what happens when I'm not there. Boom, type shit. Use absence to increase honor and respect. That was it. Thank you. Use absence to increase honor and respect. So take a trip, disappear, go on a retreat, whatever you got, like, and take all your value with you. Like, don't be like, oh, I've paid for all the bills in advance. Like, fuck that. Let her pay the bills. Literally take every single ounce of value you have with you and disappear, and then tell her, go take care of that shit, so that when you come back, there's an increase in respect for you. You never want to get to the point where your girl is looking at you like fucking Homer Simpson from The Simpsons, right? Like just the dope type of father, right? Is that something that could get worse with time because of decreased attention span? Attention span does factor into it, but not as much as you think. With that said, though, yes, it does factor into it. The lesser our attention span as a species in general gets, the quicker it'll be to forget things that matter, for sure. Trump has that swagger about him now. He definitely gonna win. It's not even about if he's gonna win. He's already won. I'm looking past the presidency. He's going to win that. Like that's done. It's what happens after that. Like how immortalized he gets. I won't be surprised if in like a good 10 years, maybe 20, they start making arguments for adding his face to like Mount Rushmore. I won't be surprised. He'll have statues. He'll have some kind of crazy additional amendment or something. I don't know, but yeah, he'll have a lot of power, and he'll have more power as a president than most other presidents have had in a long time. Is there any way you can prevent her from forgetting about your value? I just told you. If you're talking about like preemptively getting her to not forget it, the way you distribute your value does help, but for the most part, it's too much work. It's better you just allow her to forget and then remind her. Trust me, it's way easier to do it that way. Allow her to forget, remind her. It's way easier to do it that way, as opposed to like be paranoid and keep looking for every single opportunity to make sure that she remembers. Like, fuck all that. Just let her forget, remind her later. You feel me? Been reading Young, boxing, and meditating. That's exactly how life should look like. It's inevitable, right? Just correct afterwards. Yeah, pretty much. Just correct afterwards. It's way easier. Let's see. Shadow integration has been going crazy. Control over your power is everything. Is the main thing I've learned. Yes. The power, first of all, the recognition of the power, I think, is what most men lack, is understanding that we're all pieces of shit deep down inside. We don't like to admit it because we live in a society that all tells us, you can't be a piece of shit or else you're gonna get canceled. But like, we all have the capacity to do fucked up shit if we really tapped into it, So the way you learn how to control the power is to first acknowledge it. Acknowledge your own evil. Acknowledge your own humanity. Acknowledge your own pride, your own ego, your own greed, your own gluttony. Acknowledge that and the capacity to do all those things at the highest levels. And then from there, not from a place of suppression, right? You then understand how to use those things to your advantage. Because I am a greedy motherfucker. But I've learned how to use the greed intelligently and in a way that it benefits others. Does that make sense? I am a gluttonous motherfucker. But I have learned how to use that gluttony to keep myself in shape and not overdo it, right? The idea is not to not be gluttonous. I'm gonna be gluttonous. I don't like to eat. Yeah, I like to eat. I've just learned how to control the eating, control the feeding. You see the point? That's how you want to think about it. Control the power. Let it drive you towards meaningful, useful goals that serve you and other people. Let's see. It was fighting and building dark energy, then meditating to control it for a reason, like magic. Type shit. You could think about it like magic, but it's really just, it's understanding your own natural energy flow. If you want to call that magic, sure. But I see that more as a biological thing than anything, to be honest. Courage to be Disliked is a great read. Thanks. No problem. It is a great read. Shout out to... what are their names? It's two Japanese dudes that wrote that book, by the way. Which I always found ironic, because Japan is a very stifled culture. So you don't expect a book like that to come out of a place like Japan. You would assume that whoever wrote that would be someone from the West who exists in a culture where there are people, at least more people, on average, a lot more than Japan anyway, that are okay with being disliked. Because in Japan, it's a very strict culture over there with a lot of people that don't have the balls to be disliked, They'd rather crawl up in the hole and just live the rest of their days playing video games and eating ramen noodles and reading manga and watching anime than come out in society and compete, right? They actually have a name for these people too. What are they called? Weebos? Chunibios? What was it called? No, is that the right word? What's the word for like people that give up in society in Japan? What are they called again? Oh no, I meant the process is as smooth as magic. Not like that, but yeah, it works wonders. Oh yeah, I feel you. All right, I used a figure of speech. My bad. I didn't read that correctly. The men who claim not to like purely act on emotion, feminine type shit. Exactly. Just I need to know when you're releasing Sex Hypnosis. I need it now more than ever, Great Master. I've decided to put that on pause for creative reasons. Well, creative reasons. Think about it more like this. I was gonna pair it with digital pre-selection, but I realized those two things don't really like go together like that. I have to make Sex Hypnosis its own thing entirely. That's one. Secondly, if I'm gonna do it, I have to do it right. I have to do it very well. It can't be something I just kind of do half-assed as like a mini course. It has to be done like correctly, So I essentially deleted half of it, and I'm going to refilm a lot of it and just go into a lot more detail into it, because I realized I was talking in the course like to someone that had already achieved some level of success with, sex and women, but I gotta speak in that course like I'm talking to someone that's a fucking virgin, so just let me cook. Let's see. It's the main reason people hate Jason Tatum. Shout out to Jason Tatum, the basketball player, right? Yeah. Jace, I respect your work. I find it hard to do the push-pulling and backhanded compliments. I don't feel authentic, but they're mad effective though. So I don't think Tom Brady felt natural the first time he was throwing the football either. You got to think about these things like just that. They're training wheels, they're crutches. You're going to use them for now to get yourself in the groove, but eventually they're going to become a part of you, a natural, seamless part of you. It's not going to feel natural or authentic right now, but I promise you that's why practice is like a very important thing when it comes to practicing your game, right? When it comes to getting better at your game. So do them for now. They're gonna feel a little clumsy, a little awkward, a little all over the place, but eventually it's just gonna come out of your mouth. You're gonna start creating them on the fly. That's when you know you're winning. Authenticity comes as a result of repetition of correct behavior you believe in deeply. That's one way to put it, for sure. That's one way to put it. What is truthful will feel like a lie at first. The discomfort is natural. Push through it. Yes. Well done. That's a good way to put it. So if you live with a woman, how do you avoid the problem of repetition and boredom? Very simple. You remain unpredictable in your actions especially when you're out of the house. Only make it so that when you're in the house, you're spending this much time with her, and the rest of the time you're either spending by yourself or out of the house, doing something, achieving something. You should have a space in the house where you do nothing but what you need to do, and she knows that it's your time to not be fucking bothered, right? I don't care if you actually live with a woman. Make sure that she knows there's a demarcation, a space between you and her at certain times. And then when you want to spend time with each other, then spend time with each other, do your little cool things together, spend couple time together, all that good stuff. But for the most part, make sure that she understands that you're a man that has a mission, Once you learn game, you view everything differently. I can't watch sitcoms anymore. The way they portray married couples is so fucked up. Exactly. This is why I always tell you guys, you got to be careful what you recommend to me. In terms of like TV shows, animes, I'll watch a bunch of them. Don't get it twisted, but a lot of them are just like, this is not real life. This is so painfully not real life. This is not even remotely how things work. I'm sorry. And then think about that though. Imagine all those years of your life watching and consuming that same thing, thinking it's the right way the world goes. Assuming completely that that's how interactions with women goes, and that's how people actually talk to women in a dating setting, and that's what women actually find attractive. Like, come on, son. No wonder there's so many divorce couples every year. No wonder the divorce rate is so high. Women themselves have kind of dug themselves a hole, right? In a way, they tell men, "Oh, I find this and this and this and this and this attractive," and then men do those things. And then those women don't feel attraction. It's part of their biological design, throw men off the scent, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's a very messed up world out there, especially when it comes to media. Do you ever come back with an ex? Under certain conditions, yes. I keep telling you guys, there's very unique conditions under which you can get an ex back or want an ex back or accept an ex back. But for the most part, no. If those conditions are not met, then no X. Game unlocks your self-actualization like nothing else. And it's one of the best ways to measure your self-actualization. Because women are a natural litmus test for that, You want to know if you're a bitch? See how your woman treats you. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to see. The way your woman treats you will tell you everything you need to know about yourself. Straight up. Straight up. Tell them 6 of pussios were outside. Oh, what is it? Man's on the block. Man's on the ops block and the ops ain't here. Is that how you said it? Tell them 6 of pussios were outside. Shout out to Tuzi. I've been seeing all his TikToks now because I watched the show. All his TikToks. It's so funny now. Let's see. Now I can exactly say when I did it too early and I heard that one. And women exist to reflect your behavior back to you. Lovely stuff. Use absence. Oh yeah, there we go. So even Ryu already said it before I did. Awesome. Is that something? Oh, I already read that one. What places did you meet the most women when you were still in Nigeria for day game? Literally on the streets of Lagos. I went to, okay, so this is what I was doing, right? I was first going to the main day game. Literally on the streets of Lagos. I went to, okay, so this is what I was doing, right? I was first going to the main